So today because apparently she needs to be involved in this conversation, want to chat to you about intuition. I recently, as in only a few days ago, had a beautiful reminder about my intuition and intuitive abilities, and it's just made me contemplate and sit in self-reflection on how we as human beings rely so much on our intellect for everything, for how we navigate the world. And yet I held space for a dear friend of mine who's one of my soul sisters over the weekend, and I really dropped in and channeled some big stuff. And at the end, I'd almost surprised myself because I haven't been energetically holding space for people since before the whole ISO life. So I'd stopped doing Reiki, I'd stopped doing any intuitive stuff, and my business has led me elsewhere and my focus has been elsewhere, and I've been loving that. But then I realized that there was a piece of me that's not coming through in other ways that potentially could be, because a big part of me is listening to my intuition and not logically understanding sometimes why I do the things I do, or want the things I want, or trust that innate knowing. And then that made me reflect on, well, if I'm feeling like that, I guarantee there are other people out there feeling like that, whether they do healing work, whether they do Reiki or energy work, or understand intuition, or in that realm of possibility, because I truly believe every single human being is intuitive. We all have intuition that we can tap into. We're sentient beings. We come from something much grander than this earthly plane. And so with that, there is so much more that we can tap into. And even if we look at other cultures that believe that we have angels with us, or spirit guides with it, or animal spirits with it, totems. Like if you look at every single culture around the world, they all believe in some form of afterlife or other realms that are with us, ancestors, guides. It doesn't really matter what you believe. I just feel that we all have this intuitive knowing and this wisdom that I think we can forget to tap into sometimes because there's no logic to it. And you can just know something beforehand. And generally speaking, when you don't listen to your intuition, later on you go, oh, I knew that. Why didn't I listen? Because it doesn't make logical sense. Because your intuitive gifts are so much more than what we can logically comprehend. And I've even been reading stuff on quantum physics recently, to wrap my mind around even more things along this, because I am a highly intellectual person that wants to analyze and logically understand things as well, so that I have like that science intellectual stimulation as well as this very spiritual wisdom and intuitive things that I just drop into and know and don't even know how I could possibly know. And so I'm curious, because that's just who I am as a person, but I'm curious how do you remind yourself of your intuitive nature? How do you get in touch with that intuitive nature, and do you listen to it? Would you like to grow your intuitive nature more? Like, I've worked with lots of psychics and readers and intuitive guides and all sorts of stuff over the years, and even helped some of them really develop their own skills. So I know there's so much more out there for us than what we can think sometimes. Intuition's a big one, because I actually feel like we have 3 centers of knowledge that we can connect to at any time. We have our mind, we have our heart, and we have our intuition. And I think there's the 3 points. So before I keep going on and on and on and off on many tangents about intuition, I'd actually love to hear from you. What questions do you have about intuition that you would love me to touch on? Because I'm going to do some more stories about intuition and tapping into your intuition. But I want to hear from you first. Let me know your thoughts, so comment in or DM.